After 15 years, we're restructuring you out, my boss said coldly. Clear your desk. I thanked her calmly and walked out. Little did they realize, by Monday, the tables would turn in a way they'd never forget. It was a Wednesday afternoon, and I was sitting in a sterile conference room at TechVantage, the company I'd given 15 years of my life to. Across from me were Marjorie Thompson, my boss, and Denise from HR, both wearing those fake sympathetic smiles you see in corporate America when they're about to drop a bomb. Marjorie's voice had this smug edge as she said, "Kira, we're restructuring your position." Denise slid a manila folder across the table, adding, "The company's moving in a new direction." Translation, at 55, I was being shown the door. I opened that folder later. Standard severance stuff. 2 weeks pay for every year of service, 3 months of health coverage, and a list of career counseling resources I'd never touched. I nodded, kept my cool, and said, "I understand." They looked relieved, like they'd braced for me to cry or beg. What they didn't know, I'd seen this coming. A month earlier, a misdirected email had landed in my inbox, outlining their plan to consolidate my research division. I'd been preparing ever since. As I walked out of that meeting, I passed a glass-walled executive suite where Victor Lawson, our CEO, was waving his arms at a PowerPoint titled Q3 Revenue Projections. This was the same Victor who, at last year's industry conference, had taken credit for my distributed processing algorithm, the tech that powered TechVantage's flagship product, AccountSphere, used by 40% of Fortune 500 companies. He'd called me one of our research team members while basking in the applause. That memory still stung. Back in my office, I sent a quick text from my personal phone. "It's happening. Friday's my last day." The reply came instantly from Greg Sullivan, CEO of Precision Systems, our biggest competitor. "Perfect timing. Contracts are ready. Dinner tonight to finalize details." I smiled, glancing at my desk calendar. Today was Wednesday. Friday, I'd walk out of TechVantage for good. And Monday was going to be one hell of a day. That night, I met Greg at Meridian, a fancy restaurant far from TechVantage's headquarters. We sat in a private alcove hidden behind Japanese screens because in this industry, loose lips sink ships. Greg shook his head when I told him about the meeting. "They actually did it," he said, almost laughing. "Cutting the person who built their core tech? Victor's dumber than I thought." I sipped my water, letting the weight of the day settle. "Victor never got what I created," I said. "He saw the shiny user interface, the marketing buzz, but the algorithm, just tech stuff to him. The irony was rich, and it was about to get richer." 3 months earlier, I discovered TechVantage's legal team had never filed the patent for my algorithm. When I asked, they called it an oversight and promised to fix it. But something felt off, so I dug deeper. That's when I found the memo. They planned to claim my algorithm as company-developed tech, no inventor named, and push me out before securing the patent. They thought they could bury my contribution because, legally, anything I created on company time was theirs. Here's where they messed up. I'd been working on improvements to the algorithm, 43% faster processing, a game changer, on my own time, using my own equipment. Those refinements weren't covered by my employment contract. Last month, with Greg's help and a top-tier IP attorney, I'd quietly filed for a patent under my own name, backed by airtight documentation, timestamps, development logs, the works. It was granted faster than I dared hope. At Meridian, Greg slid a folder across the table. "All finalized," he said. "Sign and Precision Systems gets exclusive licensing rights to your patent. Press release goes out Monday morning, announcing you as our new Chief Innovation Officer." The terms were a dream. A 7-figure signing bonus, equity in Precision Systems, and royalties on every product using my algorithm. I signed, my hand steady, my heart racing. "To new beginnings," Greg said, raising his glass. "To owning your value," I added, clinking mine against his. Thursday and Friday at TechVantage were a blur. I went through exit interviews, documented every project, every password, every process. Not out of kindness, those notes were evidence I'd acted in good faith while they hadn't. My team, 6 brilliant engineers I'd mentored, had no idea what was coming. I saw the pity in colleagues' eyes, heard the whispers in the hallways. Junior developers asked for LinkedIn recommendations, and I wrote them gladly. Marjorie stopped by my office Friday, leaning in the doorway, all fake casual. "Just checking everything's clear for your departure," she said, watching me pack family photos and a coffee mug my team gave me last Christmas. "Crystal clear," I said, wrapping an award I'd won for the very algorithm they'd tried to steal. She kept talking, saying it wasn't personal, that Victor wanted a more youthful direction. I met her gaze. "Business is business," I said, and for a second she looked uneasy, like she sensed I wasn't as broken as she'd hoped. "Got something lined up?" she asked, fishing. I smiled. "Leadership role, I start Monday." She nodded, already dismissing me in her mind. She had no idea what was coming. As I left TechVantage's glass headquarters for the last time, I glanced up at the executive floor. They were in a late meeting, probably divvying up my responsibilities among younger, cheaper staff. I almost laughed. In 72 hours, that room would be a war zone. Monday morning, I stepped out of a Precision Systems town car, dressed in a sharp charcoal suit I'd bought for the occasion. My new corner office had floor-to-ceiling windows, a far cry from my old cubicle. At 7 a.m., the press release dropped. Precision Systems acquires exclusive rights to revolutionary algorithm, welcomes creator, Dr. Kira Jennings, as Chief Innovation Officer. It named me as the sole inventor and made it clear any company using my tech would need to negotiate with us. By 9:15, my phone buzzed with a text from Miguel, my lead developer at TechVantage. "Complete chaos here. What did you do?" I grinned, texting back, "Check your personal email. All 6 of you have offers waiting." Greg had secured senior roles for my entire team, with raises they deserved. Meanwhile, 8 miles away, TechVantage's executive meeting meeting was imploding. Miguel's updates painted a vivid picture. Victor pacing, ashen-faced, as the general counsel and CFO broke the news. The legal team was scrambling, pulling every file with my name on it. By 10:45, Victor emailed me. Kira, there appears to be a misunderstanding. Please call to discuss. I forwarded it to our legal team without a word. By noon, TechVantage's stock was down 7%, Precision's was up 12%, and 3 tech journals wanted interviews. The industry was buzzing. Greg stopped by my office grinning. How's it feel? He asked. Validated, I said, the weight of 15 years lifting. I spent so long watching others take credit, being told to be grateful for a seat at the table. Now they're listening. The fallout was brutal. By Tuesday, TechVantage faced a grim reality. Their flagship product, AccountSphere, relied on my algorithm. Without licensing rights, they'd either have to pay us through the nose or rebuild from scratch. A years-long, multi-million-dollar nightmare. My team, all 6 of them, accepted Precision's offers and were set to start the following Monday. Miguel texted me updates from Victor's all-hands meeting. He's claiming they can recreate the tech in 6 months. Nobody's buying it. I laughed. It took me 3 years to build it, and I knew the problem inside out. By Wednesday, 2 major clients reached out to Precision about switching from AccountSphere, worried TechVantage couldn't deliver. Their stock tanked 23% by week's end, while ours kept climbing. Denise from HR called, her voice tight, trying to claim misunderstanding about the patent. I shut her down politely. My employment contract is clear. The patent's mine. Talk to our legal team about licensing. The silence on her end was deafening. 3 months later, I was on stage at the National Technology Innovation Conference, delivering the keynote to a packed room of industry leaders and young engineers. Innovation isn't anonymous, I told them. It comes from real people who deserve real credit. The applause felt like a hug from the universe. Afterward, a young engineer, barely 30, told me she'd started logging her work on personal time because of my story. Smart, I said. Your innovations deserve protection. That same day, TechVantage announced the licensing deal, publicly acknowledging me as the algorithm's creator. Their stock stabilized, but at a lower valuation. Victor was gone, ousted by the board, along with Marjorie and the head of legal. The new CEO, Richard Donovan, emailed me respectfully, asking to discuss fair terms. I forwarded it to Greg with a note. Phase 1 complete. A year to the day after I was told to clean out my desk, I sat in my office at Precision Systems, reviewing our quarterly report. We'd released 3 new products built on my algorithm, stealing market share from TechVantage and beyond. Greg walked in with champagne and news. We'd surpassed TechVantage in market valuation, a first in our history. I smiled, not out of spite, but satisfaction. That's what happens when you value innovation properly, I said. Later, I opened an invitation to speak at the Women in Technology Leadership Summit on owning your intellectual value. My story had become a cautionary tale in boardrooms, a reminder that dismissing innovators has consequences. TechVantage's new policies on IP protection modeled after the ones I'd built at Precision. As I raised a glass with Greg, I thought about the journey. At 56, I'd found what I'd chased my whole career. Not just success, but recognition. My name was now tied to the algorithm that changed an industry, exactly where it belonged. And to anyone watching this, here's my advice. Document your work, know your worth, and never let anyone write your story for you. Because when you own your value, the world has no choice but to listen.